Hello and welcome to Law and Order S Review here on Fanversation. I am Yel Teagle. I'm here with Taylor Gates. Hello, Taylor.
Hello.
Hi, we are talking season 24, episode 8, A Better Person. I see people are already chatting it up in the live chat. Hello, Lizette. Hello, Daryl. Welcome. Before we begin, let us give you some information. First of all, if you need help, please reach out to RAINN. Their number is 1-800-656-4673. I didn't even look at it. I memorized it finally. Only took 6 years. 1-800-656-4673. That is RAINN. Taylor, what does that spell?
It spells hope.
It does spell hope. Hello, Zach, and Doreen is also live in the chat. I'm so excited we have so many people. Also, if you are new here, please consider this your content warning. This episode deals with a lot of interesting topics and themes. We'll be discussing them. I know that I'm going to say some things that are going to be amusing and perhaps offensive. Please consider this your content warning. If this is not the show for you, then that's okay. That's okay. We don't judge you for not liking us.
Valid. Dun dun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jennifer is here. Carol Ann is here. So many people are live chatting with us. If you want to live chat with us, we're here every Sunday. Well, we're here Sundays that there are new episodes. Other Sundays, we might be here doing old episodes. We'll talk about that later. Okay, let's talk about this episode. This is the quick cap. The SVU hunts for a violent suspect who killed a detective's child. Rollins ponders a potential opportunity. We'll get to that. What did you think about the main story of this episode?
I thought it was pretty good. I think that SVU has a long history of doing a very bad job with dealing with trans people, and I think that this was very much a step in the right direction, which was good. I was pleasantly surprised because, last week I was pretty nervous, and I think that it was pretty solid. I'm glad that they touched on some of the subjects that they did.
Okay.
And it's Trans Days of Remembrance right now, today, which is very interesting timing. So I think we should shout that out too. Very important because trans lives do matter, everyone. And if you disagree, you can go ahead and log off the show. Thank you.
Yeah, 100%. Let's start there. Yes. 100% on this show. We 100% believe Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter, Black Trans Lives Matter. We, unlike Howard Beach, are very welcoming and a very inclusive community. And I want to talk about these stories and these characters. I agree with you. I think that it's very interesting timing, especially not to get real depressing too early on in the show. But I don't know if anyone saw in the news, there was an attack. And it really sucks that this keeps happening. And the show, timing wise, continues to be timely. In terms of this story, I thought it was very interesting. I thought we had some great performances. I want to give some shout outs. So we very much, I'm going to be honest, I was trying to get Greg Grunberg, who played Detective McDaniels on the show. Scheduling wise, it didn't work out. But Greg Grunberg, I am familiar with his work almost exclusively in sci-fi. And he's in everything. He's currently in The Fabelmans. Like, this actor is incredible, and his performance, to see an arc of this story of this magnitude was so beautiful to see from the beginning to the end. I loved that. Also, Cora Bravo was played by Rain Valdez. We had Ada was played by Danny Foster. Brian Donnelly was played by Brian Wolf. I want to talk about this character so bad. Here's something I want to say. So there's the scene, right, where Brian is explaining that he met up with Ada and she was like, please accept me. And he was like, no. And now he regrets it. Here, I want to give some advice, everybody. If a friend of yours comes to you and tells you who they are, and you need a minute, because I think it is understandable that if a person you know tells you that they are different than you think they are, it might take you a minute to register, to understand, to put it all into place. More importantly, tell them that you love them and that you accept them. You could tell them, I need a minute. I love you. I accept you. It's going to take me a minute, but we're good.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Do what he said he wished he did. Say I love you. Grab a beer with them. Because it's really sad that that's what he wishes he would have done in retrospect. Like, that really sucks for all parties. Like,
and the fact that it's overnight, right? You needed one night to like,
yeah.
And I think that that's understandable. Early on, there's a part where Benson says about Detective McDaniels that he feels like he lost his son twice. And I think that that's like when people come out, when people transition, when people, for me, change their hair color, it takes a minute. Sometimes it takes you a minute. It doesn't mean it should change anything about the way you feel about them, but it might take you a minute to understand or to put it in your brain the way you need to put it in your brain, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Something I like, I don't remember where I heard this. I feel like it was maybe just like one of the many stories. Well, I wish there were more heartwarming stories, obviously, with it, but like thinking of it not as like gaining or not as losing a son, but like gaining a daughter or like gaining like a non-binary. Like, I really like that. So if you can like wire your brain to sort of think of it in terms of like, oh, you're actually getting someone who's more themselves than ever. I think that's a really beautiful way to look at it if you can.
Absolutely. But I do understand that, like, sometimes everyone thinks differently and has a different way to like put things. And Rollins says this thing later on that I like wrote out because I think the way that she said it was so good. That like everybody has a way that they think of things and the way that they put things in their head. And so if you need a second to like take a beat and be like, okay, let me translate this for my own brain, that's okay. But this is a person that you love. So just tell them that you love them.
Yeah, that should be at the core of all of it. Like, you can figure out the other stuff later, but just like reassuring them that you still love them, you still care about them. That's more than anything, that's what they need in that moment. The other stuff, I feel like they can reconcile with you needing a second, but as long as that love is still there and they're reassured of that, I think that that's absolutely the most important thing you can do. Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't copy over all of my notes and I almost missed the entire second half of the episode.
Rip.
So funny. I'm so sorry, guys. All right. So I think that I'm lost, guys. I'm so sorry. Give me a sec. Taylor, talk.
Okay. What do I want to talk about? Oh, I want to bring up the poll, but I feel like that's just going to be a much larger conversation.
No, we'll get there much later.
Yeah, because it's probably the most divisive poll I've ever tweeted out, actually, dare I say.
Okay, people are chatting in the chat. Doreen says, so much can be learned by that reaction. Just say I love you. Absolutely. Yeah. Jennifer says, unfortunately, people don't have perfect reactions, but you always want to make the person feel loved. Absolutely. I think, again, you love them. Take a beat. Be like, I love you. Give me a sec. Okay,
and there's not necessarily a perfect reaction either. I feel like that's hard for some people, especially myself. Like, I always want to like have the perfect, but like whatever you're feeling, as long as you have good intentions, like talking to them, I think that is the perfect reaction to them. Don't feel it's easy to feel scared when you are trying to react to that. But yeah, just to reiterate, if it comes from a place of like love, then it's all good,
Yeah. I want to talk about Benson's interactions with Detective McDaniels. First of all, I absolutely love that she mirrors his language, that she uses the pronouns he prefers in the conversation to like keep him talking because she knows that he'll shut down. And I love that, like, it was clear that he was hiding something. We knew that he tampered with the crime scene in the beginning, but there was a moment once Cora was attacked when she says about her attack, she says, the second we got home, it was like a flip switched. He went full on beast mode. And I was like, oh, like that's what they're explaining, is that the perpetrator has these two sides to him, right? Like the perpetrator has attack, anger, rage, but also like a calm collectedness. What a great misdirect, because at first I was like, okay, it was the dad who like obviously cleaned up the crime scene. And then they gave us that and I went, oh, it wasn't the dad. So I appreciate them, I guess, messing with my head.
Yeah, totally. And going back to the mirrored pronouns, I really noticed that too, because it's such a sensitive like topic, especially when you're watching it. So I was like, and it was interesting because I brought up at the beginning that we've had some episodes that aren't great at talking about these issues. And I think that obviously it's sort of changed with the times. And I really like that our detectives have changed with the times too, because, 10 seasons ago, we had our own team calling them the wrong pronouns, not mirroring people just amongst themselves. I was like, no. And so I think it was really interesting in this case that there was like no doubts or really conversation with our own team, which I really appreciated. They just accepted it because they should. But having to kind of play the game to get someone to talk who maybe isn't there yet, I think is such an interesting thing. And it's, I think, really cool that they showed that, not only showed that, but had Rollins flag it and bring it up and discuss it too.
I appreciate so much that she flagged it, because otherwise it felt so out of place for Benson to do that.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated them making that note, because you're 100% correct. And I think that as soon as we realized that it was Ada in the video, one, I think that there could have been just a little discussion, just so that people understand the difference between trans people and people who just like to, dress in other gendered, air quotes on that, clothing. And at first I thought that's where maybe we were headed. And so it would have been nice to just have that conversation, not to just make an assumption right away. But fine, we talked to the mom and the mom said, Ada goes by Ada. She lives as a woman. But then, yes.
I just thought it was also interesting because the beginning was so unclear on that too. Ada was like, well, obviously if you don't know by now, and it's like, you can be trans and gay. Like, there's no necessarily reason why she wouldn't want to be with a woman. But I understand, like, we didn't maybe have time to like go all into it. We had to jump to some conclusions just like for time. But I was like, that's not necessarily true, honestly.
What's so interesting is because I knew that the case was going to be trans people, and I wish I hadn't known that, because I thought that she was trans when we first met her, like that she had already transitioned. And so I was like very confused as to what was happening.
Yeah, that whole opening was so Twilight Zone-y. I thought it was the weirdest. And I eventually got there, but I was like, what is going on? Like, this is so weird.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so let's talk about Cora's attack, because Cora's a boss. She maced him and he fell off the fire escape. Oops. Amazing.
Yeah,
and then there's the puppy that finds him in the cellar. As soon as the dog was on screen, I was like, we found him. Found a body.
Always with the dog.
I'm sure I have told everyone here that there is a Instagram account called Law and Order Dog and Jog, and it's every time a dog or a jogger finds a body on Law and Order.
Sometimes it's 2 for 1. Yeah. Yes. Sometimes they're jogging with their dog. Yeah, I agree. And I thought Cora did a great job on the stand too, honestly. And that defense attorney sucked. I'm sorry. Her entire reasoning, I was like, none of this is like, you're thinking you're girl bossing and you're just not. I think all the things you're pointing out is so stupid and doesn't do anything to help you. So shut up, let Cora talk.
Ma'am, shut up.
Yeah, that was the quote I had. Ma'am, shut up. No,
Ma'am,
but
shut up.
seriously, like, can we just talk
Yes.
about, I don't mean to get too far
Yes.
ahead,
You don't
but
understand how excited I am.
she was just so dumb. She was like, okay, so Rollins, do you know what CNC means? And it's like, yeah, but like, obviously that wasn't this. And then she was like, didn't you say that human sexuality is strange? And I was like, that is the most general, broad quote you could ever see. I can say that about anything. That does not do a single goddamn thing to like help you. You got to find something way more specific than that. I think that's just you are really grasping at the smallest, most far away straw you could ever be grasping at, man.
I agree, and I appreciate that this, as much as I did not like this defense attorney, and I could poke holes in her arguments myself, which is not a good sign.
No.
I would like to talk to everybody about CNC, please.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. I'm so excited. So CNC stands for consensual non-consent. Now, this is, based on the research that I've done, different than rape fantasies.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. So I'm even learning on this show.
So a rape fantasy is, as you may know, a kink that people have. It is a consensual interaction where the interaction is played out as though it is rape or sexual assault. Those require safe words, as do most BDSM interactions. CNC, consensual non-consent, is specifically, and I'm going to say right now, if anyone is in the BDSM community and would like to correct me, I'm open to that. Please do so in the comments on our YouTube or on our iTunes. But specifically, CNC is BDSM play for a dom-sub relationship. So Cora and Lucas being strangers, it would not be CNC.
Right.
Also, as a consensual, non-consensual behavior, you would have a safe word.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You said the safe word is always involved.
Always involved. But the specificity of this, if I understand correctly, is that it's practice role play between people in a dom and sub relationship. That there needs to be that relationship between the two or multiple people involved. And that if they are not dom and sub, then it might just be a rape fantasy. But then also, rape fantasies involve consent.
Yeah, let's not forget about the first C. It's
right.
not just called non-consent, it's called consensual non-consensual, guys. Yeah. The first C is so important here.
So the definition, according to domsubliving.com.
Thank you for sourcing that.
Of course. You know I love a source.
Yeah.
Where did it go? I lost hold on. According to this website, the definition of consensual non-consent is a mutual agreement where the dom is able to act as if the sub has waived all consent.
Makes sense.
So usually these conversations happen ahead of time. So even though I'm going to just read straight off domsubliving.com, even though the two are very similar, rape fantasy or play rape is usually referred to the sex act, whereas consensual non-consent can encompass all aspects of the dom-sub relationship.
That makes sense.
Yes. So, yeah. Oh, important definitions. I'm so glad I could impart this wisdom.
Yeah.
I was, as soon as it came up, I was like, CNC, I'm not familiar with this. I got to look this up. I must learn everything.
Yeah, they kind of threw a lot of just stuff and they're like, do your own research. And I kind of respected that.
I thought that was very odd to have a case where they go, do you know what CNC is? And then someone go, yes, consensual non-consent, and then move on from it. I guarantee the jury did not understand in that moment what that meant.
Yeah. I mean, you can kind of understand, like, not the big context that you laid out, but like just the like consensual, non-consensual. Okay, we can kind of build the blocks
Sure.
to sort of get the point. But yeah, the fact that they didn't go into more depth is a bit surprising because SB is kind of known for like, well, this means this, and no. Like Munster
Right.
probably doesn't know that either, honestly. So
I bet. Doreen says, I learned a lot from Transgender Bridge when Rollins explains to Carisi about gender and sexuality. And I totally agree. I think that the show, like you said, does like to explain things. I mean, literally one of my favorite things is in this episode when Rollins says, people like to put things in neat little boxes, and gender identity doesn't work that way. It is a deeply felt individual experience. It doesn't always correspond to the sex given at birth. That I think is such a like nice way to explain it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Like I said, I'm just really happy that we're moving in this direction, and because the show has been so frustrating sometimes when dealing with stuff like this. And I think it's great because it can be sort of a tool to teach people who might not be as familiar with it, which fair enough. Like not everyone knows a trans person, and that's the truth. I feel like I take for granted I know a lot because I live in Los Angeles and I'm very part of like the LGBTQ community out here, but it's true. Not everyone has the ability for in real life to know that. So it's great that SVU can like be a teaching tool sometimes.
I agree. I think that, you know, the way that Cora held up on the stand was impressive. I think the fact that she was able to be like, I did not want this. This is, and then the whole question about the wrestling, the way that she answered was really great because I was like, first of all, how old is she? No offense to her, but she's not just out of college, right? So like, if she wrestled in college, that's one of those that I call a use it or lose it skill, right? Like,
sure.
If you learn a language and you never use it, you forget the language. If you wrestled in college and then not only changed everything about your body, but never wrestled again, you lose it. You lose those skills.
Also, like, just because you have a wrestling background doesn't mean someone can't harm. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. There are rules in wrestling.
Ridiculous. You are insane. Like, shut up, ma'am. Honestly. It's just nuts. Because, like, we've even had cases, and I guess it has been, like, a conversation, but, like, much less physically strong people can find ways to assault people who are much larger, stronger, whatever. So many ways. Threats, different, you know, drugging. Like, that's the dumbest, most thinly veiled excuse ever. Be quiet.
There also was a weird part where the defense attorney says that he was not charged with a hate crime. And then later Rollins says Lucas Peters purposely sought out Cora because she was a trans woman. And I went, why wasn't he charged with a hate crime?
What the heck? Okay.
Is it because we weren't charging the other case and therefore it was one person and we couldn't be sure that there was like a pattern? Why?
But it doesn't have to be a pattern to be a hate crime, does it?
I don't think so, but still my question was why? I can understand if Carisi was like, it's going to be hard to prove because there wasn't a pattern. You know what I mean? I understand that argument. It just wasn't expressed. And so then why wasn't it a hate crime? Especially if you're going to allow Rollins on the stand to say he targeted her because of this.
Yeah, maybe it should be charged with a hate crime.
Daryl points out also it's not like that sort of wrestling is self-defense.
So true. So true.
Also that.
What are you talking about? Yeah.
I'm trying to look through my notes and see if there's anything else I really wanted to talk about before we keep going. I'm so glad I got to inform everybody about CNC. It's I guess a favorite line, but also just so good in relation to the CNC. She says there's rough and then there's assault. Lucas assaulted me. And there is a difference.
Yeah. 100%.
There's a huge difference. And again, rough involves consent. And usually safe words. I think that's the key, everybody. Safe words.
Right.
We don't talk about them enough.
No. But hey, you said at the beginning of this season, you said, I want more BDSM education. And they're giving it to you, Yael. They are giving it to you.
I know. I'm so happy. You don't understand how happy it makes me.
I do understand, actually. I very much understand.
You do.
And I agree. It's great. We're branching into territory we haven't really branched into a lot yet.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, especially because I mean, people who are into things are into things, and I support them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Uh, 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 so I wanted to also, I guess, let's just talk about it then. This Finn and Muncie situation. Before we get to your question, this is not the first time that Finn has had to be like, hey, you're not listening to me. Hey, follow directions. And it actually reminded me that Kat had a similar didn't follow directions, but it feels repetitive. Like the issue feels repetitive. And Finn being like, you went in without backup. What the hell's wrong with you? You could have gotten killed. And it reminds me of when she threw the radio at the guy and he was like, what if you needed that and you were alone? You could have gotten killed. So, like, she's repeatedly doing the same thing. And he's like, if you do it again, I have to tell Benson, sir, I think she did it again.
I know. I don't even care though. I like I think it's so fun when we have new people because here's the thing. If you rewatch the early seasons, Olivia and Elliot, they were never listening to Cragen ever, not once. And so it's just like a whole cycle. And I think it's so funny. In 50 years, Muncie's going to be like, why aren't you listening to me? And then the new people are going to be like, well, I felt like I had to do it. It's just such an SVU staple where the younger generation is simply never going to listen to the older one. And I think it's funny. I like it.
I don't, especially because, as Daryl points out, you mean Muncie being a little violent with Elliot being the measuring stick? Look,
Exactly.
here's the thing. I know that this show doesn't seem to care anymore that it's 100% propaganda and pro cop. I think that the issue is you can't continue to have detectives abuse people and
I
then have
think
us be like, yay.
was that the point in this case? I don't think that it was her being violent. It was just her going down there, which I
No.
didn't mind.
Yeah, so it was her going down. She was already down the stairs when he said to not go. I'm gonna be honest, the first time I watched, I didn't even hear him say it.
Same. Me neither.
And so, but she says, I wasn't thinking, I just went in. She didn't hear him. And the truth is, I think that we're just, crossing boundaries left and right. And I don't think she's too, I mean, yes, she was violent. I think one of my favorite lines, I'll read it later. When we get to best lines. Yeah, she was a little bit violent, but I think the issue isn't just that she's not following directions. It's that we should expect better from the police.
That's fine. No, I agree with that. I think that I didn't mind it because I didn't read it as her like beating. I didn't think that she was overly aggressive with him necessarily.
No.
To be fair, I watched it once and it was a bit dark in those scenes anyway. I feel like she was just like getting a hold of him to contain him. So I didn't see it as her being like abusing her power necessarily. I saw it as she's being done with her own life, which I always find quite funny,
Yes,
which
you
is
do.
the aspect I like. I agree. I like it when they disobey, like just
Yes.
because it's saucy and fun. I don't think it's cool when they abuse their power. Like I think that distinction's important too. But
I think you're right. You're totally right.
I'm jumping into action without girl.
Because you're right. She 100%, she wasn't thinking. She like, and then when he's brought it up to her, she also was like, yep, I did it. And he was like, no, that's bad. And she was like, oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Like she didn't get it. Daryl says, her saying sometimes I get angry about suspects, a red flag. Yes, I think that like her not thinking and just being instinctual is going to lead to her crossing a line.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to defend her though. I feel like saying you get angry about suspects is not, I think that's fine. I think everyone said that and felt that. And
I mean, when Stabler says that he dreams about killing child molesters,
that's so different. Getting angry though, Olivia says that constantly. Ron says that constantly. Everyone says they get angry, and that's okay. That's I think super healthy and normal in this profession. It's if you act on it or not that matters. But getting angry about it, I think, is so natural. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just like defending her, and maybe I shouldn't because maybe it'll blow up in my face. But I don't know. I think she's like doing okay.
I agree. What did you think? What did you think about the fact that McDaniels essentially like covered the crime?
I don't know. I kind of wish I was more interested in that part after the main like 30 minutes of it. That last 10 minutes, I was like, okay, I get it. I don't know. I didn't feel any certain huge way about it. I mean, it makes sense. Like it makes sense because he was trying to protect his kid. And it is interesting, but we didn't really see how that played out in court, really. So maybe that's why I was like, okay, like what actually came of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I liked the end of it. Like the beginning of it was good. I think every time he blew up, I was like, I don't need this again and again and again. But the end scene, not like the very end scene at the memorial, I think that McDaniel's talking about like Cora's family not being there, and that realization where he like reveals that he had covered the crime scene and he had taken everything and all that. I really liked that interaction between him and Benson where she was like, I'm done pretending that I don't know what you did.
Right.
I really liked that. All right. Shall we talk about our favorite lines?
Let's do it.
Hold on, let me put up the thing. There it is. All right, favorite lines, everybody. All right, I'm gonna read some of mine. Okay, so are you an appendix? Because I want to take you out.
My first one, my absolute first one. So good.
What a brilliantly terrible pickup line.
That's the thing. Like when the episode starts like that, I'm like, what do we do? What are we doing?
Yes. It was a tequila Negroni. You
Stop.
Philistine.
You're stealing all of mine.
Yes, this one had so many good lines that I wrote down.
I'm so mad I didn't go for the Negroni Splagliato with prosecco in it. Yes. But it's okay. We can have our own version here.
That's fine. Okay. Where is the other one? If I thought you'd killed Aiden, you'd already be in cuffs. I absolutely loved that one. Okay, hold on. Oh, he's pretty banged up. Either he fell off a fire escape or Muncie is a lot stronger than she looks. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And then Howard Beach, that place is racist, sexist, and phobic of just about everything.
So good.
Such a great line. And then there was just the moment where McDaniel says, I chose shame, and then Benson says over justice. Yeah. And I thought that was really poignant. All right, take it away.
Based on the new and improved lemony scent, I'd say it was dish soap. Why did we word it like that? I don't know. I love it. I love when we're talking to the bar guy. Did you just confess to serving a minor alcohol? He literally just like, I've been slinging him illegal beer since he was 16.
Yes.
Dude, did you forget who you're talking to right now?
Yes, he did.
So good. I'm sorry, I thought you were a captain. I was like, whoa. We've already talked about ma'am, shut up, but I just wanted to say
ma'am, shut up.
Shut up. I think he's got a broken rib. Don't look at me, I didn't do it. Oh, she's funny. And then finally, people up in Harlem, we don't put fruit on our pizza. Like I said, I'm glad that we're getting Finn and Muncie because it reminds me of the early days of Finn and Rollins, which was one of my favorite dynamics back in like season 13 and 14. So it's nice to see him interact with the youngins again. And Kat too.
I miss her. Yes. All right. So as everyone knows, I have been doing you all a solid and watching organized crime, so you don't have to. It continues to be bad. It's not good, everybody. But I'm watching it in case there's anything relevant, and there I guess is everyone's talking about it on the internet. Stabler and this woman that he knows got drunk, and at the next day she informs him that he told her when he was drunk that he is in love with someone, and we are all to take that as Benson. That's it. That's the thing. Yep, that's the thing you missed. I sat through an hour of that show for you people. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I hate it. I hate it so much. All right. So yeah, as you know, we've already told you that, you know, this is not necessarily ripped from a headline, but there is a big headline from this week, from today. There was a terrible tragedy in Colorado Springs. So feel free to look into that if you would like. On a happier note, we on our show like it if you leave us ratings and reviews on iTunes. That'd be helpful. So yes, you could totally join us live on our chat on Sundays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. You can also watch us live or watch us later on YouTube, watch us on Spotify, listen on Spotify, and listen on iTunes. If you like us on iTunes, you can give us a 5-star review. If you don't like us, you can give us 4 stars. The other stars are still broken. Checking right now if we have any new reviews. No new reviews.
Say, someone on iTunes said our audio is trash. Well, I just got a microphone this week, so maybe leave a review that is updated and give us our star back.
Listen, to be fair, you know, it's the internet and it's not a highly produced podcast.
I'm just saying, I spent $100 on this, and so I would like the star back.
Wow. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Yeah. If you would like to help pay for that $100, you could check out our swag. No, I'm kidding.
We are not getting the money from that.
Nope. We get pennies. We have made very little on that, and we did it for fun, not for money. And if you want more of our swag, link below. Or, you know, leave us an iTunes comment telling us what kind of crap we should put on a t-shirt. If it's any of the quotes we said tonight,
Man, shut up.
It's a tequila Negroni, you Philistines.
You Philistines.
All right, it's time for the weekly poll. Taylor, weekly poll.
Hell yeah. I'm about to cause a ruckus. Last week, we wanted to know what your favorite pro athlete episode was, because we talked about Dead Ball last week. In last place is indeed Dead Ball.
That's fair.
Such a bummer. And third place, we have Closet, season 9, episode 16. All of these were good, so I'm actually not mad at any of them winning. In second place, we have Heightened Emotions. That's season 18, episode 4. And in the first place, which is very deserved, is Spiraling Down. That's season 13, episode 10. That's the Treat Williams concussion episode. Very good episode. And I also asked a little bonus poll about whether we're shipping Muncie and Velasco. We got like 0 content of them this week, so no really new evidence to add to that. But it was honestly very close. 47.7 said yes, the right team. And 52.6 told me to get a grip, which is your prerogative. But I think that you are missing out on a good time. And this week, I want to know whether you're team Muncie and you like pineapple on pizza, or your team Finn and you think it's gross. It's tied 50-50 right now. Yell, what are you thinking?
Well, I don't eat pizza, but when I did, I was not a fan of pineapple on pizza. That said, I don't think that means it shouldn't be on it. It's just shouldn't be on my pizza.
I feel actually the exact same way. It's not for me, but I also would prefer pineapple to ham on pizza because I don't like ham, and I know a Hawaiian pizza has both of those, but I'd prefer the pineapple over the ham part. But it's not, it's warm, which is weird. It just freaks me out a little. The texture freaks me out. But I also am a person who doesn't really like fruit salads either. Like and when I say fruit salad, I don't mean like the, just a bunch of fruit cut up and people call that a fruit salad. I'm talking about I'm literally going off on such a tangent, but it's important. I don't really like when people put like raspberries with lettuce and like a vinegar. Like that's weird.
Oh, you don't like fruit in a salad either?
No, keep it separate. It's strange. I'll eat some of it, like it's okay, but I don't really think that should be a thing. Like just keep it. Like I don't think there should be a lot of sweetness in your salad. Like Caesar, Italian, like yes. Like raspberry, blueberry. Why are you doing that?
All right. That's a whole other discussion. I didn't realize we were anti-fruit in a salad, and that's a whole I will die on that.
I just feel like it's kind of the spiritually the same.
Some salads, it makes sense to have fruit in them, and it really adds to the flavor.
Like what?
Anyway, there was something. Daryl asked if one of the ones last week was about the fighter who got catfish. First of all, the episode is intent, and it is such a good episode, and I love it so much, and it was not in the vote.
It wasn't, but that is a really good episode.
It's one of my favorites. All right. What did we learn? I'm so prepared.
I want to go.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid you'll steal it.
I learned 3 things.
I learned that hold on, let me look up the exact words I wrote down. That mace has UV dye in it, which I thought was super cool. I was like, "Whoa, that's amazing!" And they were like, "Do you have a UV light?" They're like, "Yeah." Boom! His face lights up like a little Christmas tree.
I also totally learned the UV light thing. 100% new information. I learned what CNC is. And now all of you learned what CNC is. And I learned that Howard Beach is a place that is racist, sexist, and phobic.
You can't say that because maybe not everyone knows Howard Beach is like that. It didn't like someone from Howard Beach write this long note and post it on Twitter?
I don't know. Twitter's dead. I'm not on it anymore.
Well, I am, but hold on. Let me look it up and see if this is true because maybe I'll read the note to you.
Please, because I've abandoned Twitter.
Okay. Let me find the actual.
Oh no. Was it a letter to the showrunner of
SVU? Yes, it was. Hold on, I have to find it now.
Shit, guys, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Here it is. The New York City Council member, Joanne Ariola, wrote this. I haven't actually read it.
What is her name?
Ariola? Ariola. How would you pronounce that?
I don't know. I'm just
saying. I know what you're implying, but I don't know how else I would say
it.
Okay. And it's like written on the official paper too. Mr. Jankowski, Miss Martin, Miss Hargitay, whoa, she addressed Mr. Forney, and Mr. Graziano. I am deeply disappointed in your decision to paint the neighborhood of Howard Beach in such a negative light during an episode Law & Order SVU titled The Better Person, Season 24, Episode 8. Your writers opting to label the 26,000 plus residents of this diverse neighborhood as a racist, sexist, and phobic about just about everything is highly offensive and reflects a lack of forethought and compassion for the people who live there. It has been decades since the specter of hatred unfairly labeled our community, hatred for which the individual perpetrators have been punished. And yet people such as yourselves continue to pass judgment on a community at large because of past incidents. We as a community are by no means anything like the words spoken, and to continue to label us as such is unfair and, in fact, defamatory. The people of Howard Beach are a resilient, hardworking, industrious group of individuals who deserve better from NBC and from the Law & Order franchise. This community deserves an apology, and we eagerly await your response. Sincerely, the Honorable Joanne Ariola, I don't know how to say it, member, NYC Council District 32. So that's a little bit of spiciness for you.
I would like to formally apologize for my words. I apologize for suggesting that this statement made on a fictional TV show might be accurate. I apologize. I was wrong.
I do have to say, though, there's a lot of quote tweets saying they're right. Be quiet, Joanne. So I'm just saying that people have had some bad experiences there as well.
Okay. I don't know. I've never been. I don't know. And I apologize to anyone I offended. Look, here's the thing. Our show, we give you a content warning. We know we're going to say something offensive. I said some shit. Here's what I also know. I'm not above apologizing when I've made a mistake. I think that,
Here's the thing. You
yes.
can make fun of, I make fun of where I'm from all the time, because am I or are my friends and family like all of, some of the things that I claim? Of course not. Overall, as a whole, Joanne, you have to be honest sometimes. Obviously I can say I've never been there, but I'm just saying generalizations suck, but sometimes you have to generalize a little bit. And if you're not part of it, don't get defensive.
I did not realize that you would be taking that stand, and I love it.
Well, I'm just saying, like, it's the thing. It's like, oh my gosh, you can't say that all white people, whatever. Well, if you're not part of the problem, you shouldn't be offended.
That's fair. That is true.
Just saying.
Doreen says, I did. I warned you. I did warn you.
I warned you. It was a funny line, okay?
Such a funny line.
It was a joke, Joanne. Joanne, if you want to come on our show.
And tell us how to pronounce your name.
And tell us how to pronounce your name. And tell us why we should visit Howard Beach. Tourism.
Yeah, if Howard Beach would like to sponsor our podcast.
Then we'll change our tune real quick, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are the things we learned. I learned that their representative really did not like the episode.
That was like, she went super hard.
Yeah.
I kind of respect it though, honestly.
Absolutely. All right. So just so everybody is aware, next week there's no episode. The next episode is airing on December 8th. And that is the fall finale. So essentially, one more episode, and then we go on hiatus till the new year. It is the 9th episode. It is Rollins' last episode. I'm not going to say anything about what was in the trailer, but I'm going to let you know that we will be back that week. So until then, I think we'll call it here so we don't have anyone spoil anything.
We don't get any more NYC council members angry at us. Joanne and public, if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter still. Yes, I am, and I will always be there regardless. You can find me there and the poll at alphaba_, and you can also find me on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Amazing. Before I tell you where to find me, I'm going to give some shout outs to people live in our chat. Doreen is chatting it up. Carol Ann is here as well. Daryl, Alice Jones. Scrolling. I know there was more people. Jennifer was here. Hold on. Lizette was here. Zach was here. Thank you so much to anyone who chatted live with us. We love having you here. Have a wonderful time if you are celebrating Thanksgiving. I'm so thankful for all of you. If you are not celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful week.
Just celebrate Glass Onion being in theaters. I'm sure for it.
Okay.
Anyway.
Hit that subscribe and thumbs up and all the things. I'm going to do that. I'm Yell Teagle. I am on the internet at Yell Teagle, mostly Instagram these days. YAELTYGIEL. You can also find me on the official Leverage Redemption After Show, a very distinctive podcast with Felicia Michelle. New episodes drop on Sundays. Thanks, everybody. I cannot wait to see this next episode and talk to you all then. All right, bye.